So my question is, I have formed a particular strong negative opinion for a particular person, right? And over the time, it has increased. The effect has increased, and though that person wouldn't say me something, but if he or if she passes the opinion towards my close persons, like my close family members, then also I would immediately react back. So how do I break that pattern?
So just to understand a little bit better, so the person that you're talking about, they are also family members, or they are,
Yes,
yeah,
they are
acha.
family members.
Okay, okay. That person is family member, and when they make a comment about other family members, it really
Yeah,
agitates you.
yeah.
Okay, okay.
It's not just only the family members. Like if she makes comments on me also, I get agitated. It's like,
And just to hear it from their perspective, so like whatever the fallout was, the conflict was it mutual? Like they are also upset with you, or is it just like you? Yeah.
I don't know on their part. Like I've never asked it
Okay,
or
okay.
thought of it.
Okay, so it could be one-sided also, that in your mind there you just have a negative opinion of that person.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. And you can't share any examples?
So like if example of a dispute.
Yeah, any. So, what particular thing, first of all, like led you to make the negative perception? Anything? Why?
So like there was a fight between us. Like I don't know. I mean, I can't describe that fight, but we had a fight.
Okay, okay, okay.
And then over period of time, like whatever she says, I would rather me knowing that it might be good for me or any other person, but I can't accept it.
Because it's coming from that person.
Yeah.
Because yeah, yeah. I get it. All right. Thanks for the question. This is such an important point. I just want to comment on this as well, which is key during fights. Most of the times, not actually most, in fact, all of the times, it's first of all difficult for both of you because you know for a fact that there is some negative energy here. And nobody wants that, right? We don't want that around us. Nobody enjoys it. You may sometimes enjoy fighting and unloading something, but then after effects, when the fight continues, when the Cold War continues, it's not enjoyable because then it affects your experience. Whenever they are around, or even if they are not, the fact that somebody dislikes you and you dislike them back is just a tension that why keep it, right? So now the question is, how do you let go of it, right? How do you let go of that Cold War, so to say, which is there, not addressed? So what Mohit mentioned, is actually very true, which is, uh, okay, and why should you do that? So I'll give you the whole reasons why it's important to take those steps. So in your grounding philosophy, it's important that you prioritize people in general. Like I have actually had similar seminars before, which is where I've said, prioritize people because relationships are in a way lifelong work in progress. Like they can keep getting better, then there will be setbacks, and then you'll have to work on them. But if your approach in life becomes that, you know what, I ran into some difficulty with this person and I'm just going to go off, you're likely to end up alone and bitter in your old age, right? So the first question is, what is the philosophy that you're choosing for your social integration, for your social life? And the philosophy that you must choose must be, okay, I will do my best in sustaining the relationship, right? So this understanding in itself creates the intention. You know what? Now I look for some solutions, as opposed to, you know what? They are in their world, I'm in my world. I'm not going to deal with toxic people. I'm just going to lead my own life. I'm going to surround myself with happy people. And turns out there are no such happy people. Every person has some toxicity in them. So how many people will you cut off, right? So this is why your core intention has to be, some effort has to be made. Now the next question becomes, what effort? Like how do we make that? So if you broadly define that effort is, okay, as long as you are with good intentions, and of course this is an art in itself, and I'm going to lay down a few key principles there. But if you do this well, after multiple tries, you can probably realize how close this relationship is going to be. Like how much value are you going to derive from this? So there are friends who you try to talk to once, then again and thrice, and then after 10 times you realize, you know what, this person is not going to understand this basic point. So maybe this this relationship is not going to be as close as I intended to be. And I always say, look at relationships on a sliding scale, right? Which is you were intending it to be an 8 or 9, but it can't be. So you're happy with 5 or 6. You don't have to go to 0. So don't expect 10 and don't go to 0, right? Stay in between and you can go up and down. So as whenever you try to mend things with somebody, it gives you indication, it gives you some feedback of the potential of this. So if that person takes it well, so I think in case of Mohit, that person probably took it well, and I think things got repaired. But what if they got really defensive? What if they had come in and said, you know what, it's your own fault, why are you coming to me, right? Or like, it's so the relationship probably would not have repaired and it would have stayed at a lower level only. So this thing you'll only realize after you try to resolve things. How well they reply, how well they respond, and you immediately know, were they also waiting for you to come to them? So because the moment you talk to them, you realize, oh, they were also waiting for me to come to them, because they're like, you know what, they don't want this either. They want relationships too. So when you make those efforts, you have to go in with this assumption. You have to really go in with this mindset that you could have done something wrong too. Right? There could be something that you don't realize, but you might have, and even if it's not wrong, maybe you couldn't live up to their expectations. Now their expectations could have been mistaken, but still it's their expectations and you're dealing with them. So they were still disappointed, right? They were still hurt by something, or they heard something which they did not like. So your actions may have hurt them too, just like their actions have hurt them. So when you realize this, that I might have made some mistakes or may have hurt them too, you go in with a different vibe, which is, okay, you know what, let's talk about this. I'll take responsibility of what I did, and I'll tell you, and hopefully you'll take responsibility of what you did too, right? So if you go in with that vibe, the conversation is much more likely to be successful, okay? Because you're showing openness, okay? And usually it's a good idea, by the way, to actually start with that question, okay? You know what, first I'll ask you, what happened there, okay? What do you think of it? You tell me. Let them unload. Let them say all that they want. Okay, what did you not like? How did you feel hurt? And where do you think I made the mistake? Start with that. It's an amazing experience, because once they are opened up and they see that you're opening up, then they become much more open to listening to you too, because they've said their part. And now the conversation can begin, as opposed to you going in, you know what, you did such and such, you hurt me so much, I've told you 10 different times, and then the conversation falls apart. Okay, so try to do that. And the second part that I was mentioned, let's say if you realize that you talk to this person and you try to mend it and nothing works, right? And they become defensive, or it just becomes a bigger fight. Then you can actually go into a different stage of life, which is, you know what, I tried, we seem to just be a mismatch, and I'm happy with the distance. So in both solutions, in both ways, there has to be no negativity. Even if you distance from somebody, you can do that with compassion and empathy, and just, you know, and understanding that this is a mismatch. That's not a bad person, I'm not a bad person, I'm not against them, they're not against me. So it's like, it's not that big of a match. So in your case, whenever it's in a relationship which is important, which most relationships should be, make an effort, take the first step. Also realize that, see, you're here right now listening to me, right? And maybe if some of this will convince you, you'll take that first step, right? But before this, you were not also making it, right? You were also at the distance. So if that person is not making the first step, that person is not different, right? Because we're all like that. You're just like that person. You're not different. So don't think that it's just them. You're also making many mistakes here. The fact that you could not approach them right now, in a way, is also a mistake, right? After understanding this. So in relationships, not approaching, not trying to make efforts is also a mistake. So that in itself should give us some modesty and humility, that we are not perfect at managing relationships. And that's why we must go in with that openness too, right? And hope and think of it from her perspective. Nobody probably taught her also, or him also, that they have to make such efforts, right? They didn't get that counseling or guidance from anybody, that when you have had a fight, it's good to address it. It's good to take responsibility. So if nobody taught them, if they're not educated, or if they don't have the skill, how can you expect them to make it right? So this is why when you see them on a similar plane as yours, the vibe is very different, and you're like, you know what, I prioritize relationships and I'm going to make some efforts. Okay. So this is like the whole answer, because see, relationships are and such issues are so complex. I have to address so many aspects of it. Otherwise, the answer would feel incomplete. Yeah. These videos can help you to some degree, but if your problems are really serious or painful, you should come for counseling. We now have a team of psychologists who can help you and your family live a much better life. Here are some feedbacks from our clients. If you wish to take counseling from us, go to our website page www.shridharlifeschool.com/counsel. Click on this link and fill this application form. We will get back to you soon. I would be doing these online meetings with you all regularly for some time. If you wish to attend these meetings live on Zoom, save the details. If you need reminders, we also send invitations to you personally on email and Telegram app. To get reminders, do the following.